Welcome to hell.
Hello and welcome to the Jersey Shore Musicians Podcast. I'm Matt. That's Jeff.
Hello.
And tonight we have the P-Dub assassin himself, Mr. Tim Boyce.
Yeah. Mutt and Jeff over here, man. Stoked to be here, guys.
Welcome.
Thank you.
Any
Thanks
problem
much.
finding the place?
No, but almost got rear-ended because, as you know, like trying to slow down in front of your driveway.
Yeah.
These
Usually
aggressive-
people pass this place so much.
Yeah, the Tom's River holiday traffic, Fisher Boulevard. Yeah.
Awesome. So, we like to start off. Let's hear your origin story. Because you have a good one. You have a great history in New Jersey, plus touring. I've known you for quite a few years. We worked together.
Of course.
Let's introduce. I want to hear this great story that you got.
Well, the origin story, hopefully I'm going to keep this short and succinct.
It's also PJ. It's got to be PJ. No, I'm just totally
No,
kidding.
not
Fuck
PG.
that.
That's not happening. I got too many stories. But I am from the Jersey Shore, as the podcast title insinuates. I'm from Seabright, New Jersey originally. I grew up in that town when it was it's still a bar town, but when it was jumping, man. When it was just being surrounded by revelry and live bands were the thing then, you know? So that was my normality.
That's what people cared about music, though.
Yeah.
Do you feel that there's a difference to that now between today and yesterday?
There is a difference, yeah. The intensity is there in certain towns. Earlier, before we started this podcast, obviously, we were talking about Asbury Park. And there's a lot of energy, like festive energy in that town. By that, I mean it's a place where people go out specifically to party and see live bands. Seabright was like that when I was growing up, but more almost like a Seaside Heights, where it was kind of like some next level shit as far as the partying and the drinking and stuff. So I definitely, I can't think of an equivalent of it today in New Jersey. Maybe a Wildwood, you know, a place where people just come to get shitty, man. Dance to a live band.
Yeah.
That's what Seabright was. So we had Donovan's Reef, we had Trade Winds, the Peninsula House. Like, as you go up the beach, it was just like venue after venue. And my uncle's band was one of the bands of note. Let me mute this. One of the bands of note in that scene. They were called Line Drive. They were kind of like a super big deal when I was a kid. So I grew up with this whole, I'm named after my uncle, the musician. So I grew up with this whole, like, how do you explain this? Back then, you could not sneak, like, as an 8, 9, 10-year-old, you could walk into this packed bar where people are doing blow, drinking, dancing, and going fucking nuts. And once in a while, they'd be like, rarely would you be asked, like, what are you doing here? Could you imagine that today? That's one thing that's nuts.
Not even
My
close.
son's 8, like, in a fucking bar by himself. I'm by myself. I'm not, no parent took me to this bar. I fucking walked across the street and went into the bar. See my uncle's band play. But if there ever was any trouble, they'd be like, who are you? I'll be like, I'm Tim Boyce. And it was the same name as my uncle. So it's like, yeah, he's good. I wasn't drinking or anything, but just to be in the environment where, like,
No holds barred, pretty much.
bro, it was 80s white people doing blow dancing and get ready to make babies and start the rest of their family lives. That's what was happening, man. And like, it made quite an impression on me, man. Because I'm sitting here watching, you know, oh, that's my uncle. Place is rocking. Now, he hated this era of his band because they were a jazz fusion band. They were kind of a big deal. But I guess at that time they made the decision to do like what was called Top 40 back then for a cover band. And he hated it, but I thought it was awesome. And even to this day, I tell him, I'm like, bro, like, he's considered like a guy in jazz fusion. But I'm like, yo, jazz fusion is shit. The music you fucking play has like 1716 as a time signature. Nobody knows where the one is. Yeah, nobody can even snap their fingers to this. And when I was a kid, they were playing. I remember they were doing like I mean, I'm gonna date myself, of course, but they were doing like Prince tunes and killing, because they were a great band. So when they would do these complicated, funky, poppy stuff of the era, they would kill it. Kill it. I mean, he, in fact, is on record with Shaka Khan, Tower of Power. He did, he would do session stuff too.
Wow, that's awesome.
That's the origin story of getting into music. Was just him,
Yeah.
No, that's cool.
and being like, fuck, I want to be like my uncle. You know what I mean?
And your uncle played mostly Jersey Shore stuff, back then. I mean, besides other things, but when you were a
But
kid,
the
you would
thing
be
was,
Jersey
like,
Shore.
To be a Jersey Shore, quote unquote, musician back then was a big fucking deal. Because you know who else is a fucking Jersey Shore musician? Bruce.
Yeah.
And goddamn Southside. And that kind of thing. And as a matter of fact, I didn't even think of this. I grew up on a street called Surf Street in Seabright, and at the end of my street was a legendary venue called the Good Side. And I would run up to the end of the fucking street and put because the front window was fucking tinted, and where the band would play, their backs were to you when you looked through the tinted window, and Bruce would be up there jamming with my uncle all the time.
Wow.
So word would come on Surf Street, yo, Bruce is up there jamming with Line Drive. So all the kids, myself included, would run up and put our faces to the window and watch Bruce playing with my uncle. You know what I mean?
That's
And,
cool.
that made an impression on me. I didn't grow up in an environment where it was like, how do I phrase this? Like every other person, your guys self included, you're in the arts, you're a musician. So when you're younger, you have like everybody and their mother telling you, oh, you like to play? Are you a guitarist in the band?
I play bass, yeah.
He's a bass. Oh, you like to play bass? Oh, that's cute. What are you gonna do for college? What are you gonna do for a living? And you're like, motherfucker, I'm gonna rock. That's what I'm gonna fucking. And they don't take you seriously. But I grew up in an environment where I was like, this is a lie. Like, I've watched my uncle buy a home off of this. He's not famous, but he's still able to make a living and buy a home. So from early on, I knew that you don't necessarily have to be Motley Crue.
Yeah,
You should
true.
strive to try to be. Definitely try to kick the field goal as far as you can.
True.
But even if you fall short of that goal, if you're really fucking doing it and kicking ass, you might not have to get a fucking day job and still not be Motley Crue,
Yeah.
which probably is a pain in the ass at the end of the day.
That's probably a whole nother level of pain in the ass.
Yeah, I'm saying. Fucking poor Vince Neil.
Oh, he's been getting crucified.
Yeah.
Oh man, he has a
It's a hot mess.
Yeah, he's a hot mess. The way I got into reggae is I grew up in Seabright, as I mentioned earlier, and when I was 17, do you guys remember the Long Branch Boardwalk
Yep.
with Haunted Mansion and all that? So there was the Long Branch Boardwalk, and it was I don't know how I would compare it to almost a Venice Beach, where it's a boardwalk, but it's just fucking sleaze central. And when I was 17, I would go to this bar over there called the Blue Dolphin, and they would serve us fucking pitchers of beer. And I would go there and chill out and drink pitchers of beer with the old people. And one night I was over there and I had my acoustic guitar with me. And as a dumb young motherfucker, like, oh, I'm a musician, let me sit over here like buskers do. I'm like, I've always
Which I
buskers-
just learned that from one of the other bands. I've never heard that before.
I can't stand busking. And people that do it, I do respect them, but some of them, they're like mimes. In a way, it can be annoying in a way. But when I was 17 and I was, in a way, it's almost busking, but I was kind of like sitting on the fucking steps of the Blue Dolphin, hammered, playing my acoustic. And a guy walked up to me. He's like, oh, you're a musician, are you? A young brother. And he's like, yeah, my friend has a studio. We're looking for guitarists, musicians, keyboard, whoever. You know, it was just a very vague thing. And I'm like, cool. And he hands me the card, and it's this like rostered out, like, the name of the studio is Melchizedek High Power, which is a Rasta-oriented name that has to, it's a biblical thing.
Yeah.
Melchizedek is the high priest of the Levites in the Old Testament. But at that time, I didn't know it. I'm like, what? Oh, cool. Put it in a pocket. It was in some hood. The address was like deep in the fucking hood in Long Branch, like off of Rockwell Avenue, where it's like, I don't know if you guys know that area, but so I went over there a few days later and I roll up and it's like barbed wire fence all around the place. It looked like Jamaica. Zinc, zinc fucking sheets, like hammered indiscriminately to the fence. The wood is hammered. And I met a Rasta man in there who, I guess we would say, took me under his wing. And then I wanted to just hang out and smoke weed because I'm 17 and I wanted a safe place to do that. But he like had a recording studio and a sound system and had his notions of like that he was gathering musicians to fucking form a band and shit. So after about a year of me being there, he's like, "You're going to be the guitarist, man." And I'm like, "Fuck that. I love reggae, but I don't fucking play this shit. I'm not Jamaican." And he's like, "No, man. You're going to be the guitarist, man." And here I am.
So be it.
So be it. And this man, he's still with us today, and I revered him. And, my father, he's in jail on like a murder, kidnapping thing. I never met the motherfucker. So it's like all my life I've had these various, and he's been one of those father figures. And he forced me to do this. And man, you should hear the first reggae shit. I remember he's like, "So sit," it's almost like a fucking kung fu movie. He literally put me in the guest bedroom in his house. And you gotta realize I'm 17 and these guys are 55. He's married to a white American woman who's like 65. So these are like grandparents. And like I told you, I was raised by my grandparents. So their house, he's smoking weed all day out of a pipe and all this and that. And there's pictures of Haile Selassie and everything all over in every room. But at the same time, since they were so old, it was kind of like being at your grandparents. It could be a little boring. Mm. So this dude shoves me in the fucking guest bedroom. Now I'm super bored. And I got to make some reggae tracks on my 4-track to show him before I come out of there. And I remember thinking, one of them I based on Heroin by fucking The Velvet Underground. Because that's how fucking I don't even know what to do right now. I love The Velvet Underground. Is this a good... And don't get me wrong, I've been listening to Bob Marley for years at this point, right? So it's like, I'm not totally fucking retarded. But I'm a fucking metal kid. I don't know how to... You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You're a metal guy. Then they hand you... Oh, you're the reggae guy now. What the fuck you doing? Palm muting. Palm muting is the only transferable technique. The palm mute, the chop, the metal palm mute, that's the reggae chop.
There you go.
It's the same fucking thing. You have to perfectly palm mute on the bridge for the proper reggae chop, just like you have to do for the chug for metal. If your palm is slightly higher on the bridge or back, you don't get the proper attack and cut off for the chug or the chop. It's identical, dog. I'm telling you, it's identical.
I really played too much reggae, so I couldn't tell you.
I've played both. The first songs I fucking learned were like Sanitarium, just like everybody else. I learned Sanitarium, Battery, chug, 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 chop, chop, chop. It's the same exact palm mute. There's no difference. None.
Interesting. Very interesting.
Things you learn every day.
What else you guys got from me?
So you're considered, at least to me, and I've been around for a while, you're a really good songwriter. You have.
Is that what they say?
That's what we say. Us real people.
I appreciate it.
And I've known you for a while. You're a real songwriter.
Like most artists, I think I'm jive personally, but
nah.
Is there a guy
withstood the
out
test
there,
of time?
besides Liberace and guys like that? Are there guys out there that really come out and say, "Fuck, man, I'm kind of the shit"?
I'm sure there are.
There are.
I'm sure there are.
They're weird. No, I'm not one of them. Bro.
You're not one of them. Don't worry.
But no, I do appreciate.
As a songwriter now, do you wake up and you have these melodies in your head, or maybe something inspired you to write something?
I do.
Is it like a process that is natural and organic?
It's natural and organic, but most of the time I ignore it.
Okay.
Yeah, I ignore it. A million songs come to me all the time, and I usually just let them go.
Okay. Because if it's really something you want, it's going to stick with you, or?
Not really. It's more like the ideas come all the time, no matter what. Mm-hmm. It's actually a problem sometimes, like whether you fucking want them to or not.
True.
And a lot of people, should I say they're more professional and driven, keep a notebook by their bed and wake up and, oh my God, what was that? Me, I go, fuck, that's an awesome idea for a hook. And then I'm like, I'm too tired to like, dude, fuck this. And then of course you lose it. So I do that 1,000 times a week. I've learned to detach from it. It doesn't stress me out.
Okay. So do you set time for recording?
To answer your question, because I know that when the fucking rubber hits the road and when I sit down and go, it's like a job. I sit down and go, all right, I got to write a song now. It's not fucking, I'm inspired and I got to write a song. It's like, nope, it's time to sit down and do this.
Okay. That's definitely a different way that
So
other
at that
people do.
time, you turn on, what do you call it? Inspiration.
Okay.
You fucking, and if it's not there, you pretend it is.
Until it gets there.
Make the fucking song.
Yeah.
It might not ever come. Does that mean you can, my God, you're a mason. They want you to do this very simple brickwork thing that's not really getting you excited. You're still able to do the job.
True. That's
And
a
it's
different
still
way.
probably going to be high quality if you're a person of esteem in the masonry world, right?
Yeah.
So it's like, I don't know, waiting for inspiration is kind of like a non-efficient and almost pretty much kind of non-professional way of doing shit. Do you feel like doing the fucking sound for the bands every time?
Yeah, no, absolutely.
The same cover band, you're going to hear them do freaking I Get Knocked Down by Chumbawamba. You want to kill yourself.
Yeah, true.
Do you do the sound any less perfect for that band?
No, but that's a different way actually from people that have been on here. That's a different way of thinking.
When you're in a studio situation, though, you're thinking creatively and you're like, oh, I like the bridge this guy's doing. And your brain as a technical guy, as a producer, you're going, I'm hearing delay. I'm hearing, your brain starts going to all these places of,
where it could go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just like sometimes you're inspired, sometimes you're not, but you're still working regardless all the time. I hope so.
Yeah. You try to. Everybody tries to keep that
done.
moving. So, okay, so you actually set a time. So
No, I don't set a time. I'm very lackluster these days about when I do it, but
you'll walk in. Let's say you're because you have your own studio.
Yeah.
You walk in and you're like, all right, well, I'm going to, all right, today's day. I'm gonna write a song, or I have to do this song for yada yada yada.
Correct.
Now, do you take it and pretty much do everything yourself as like a pre-production yourself first?
I mean, I do so many different genres and different scenarios that there's never like
a same.
There's never a formula.
That's awesome. That's great because that's how music flows. Because I don't think music should be a formula.
Yeah.
It should be an extension.
Well, it's like a soccer play, man. You don't know what's going to happen.
Nope.
You just react in the time. So it's like a client gives you a thing to do. I mean, it could be anything. If a guy comes to me, I've had a guy hire me to write. He's not a musician. He wanted to write a song. He wrote a song. He wanted a person to perform and record just for him to give to whoever his lucky partner was. This guy, man, what amazing boyfriend this guy. He hired he found my friend who then hired me to write and record this song that he wrote. I don't know if he was proposing. I don't know the guy. I never met him. But I mean, a thing like that, it was a band track. It was a ska song. So it involved having an upright bassist and a thing.
Oh, nice.
So that's completely different than when someone sends me a hip hop track and says, can you do a hook for this?
Yeah.
And the production techniques, as I'm sure you know, would be radically different in both
absolutely.
of those. Because one of them's a live band playing and then capture it and do a few overdubs. And the other thing is like, all right, cut, punch, because that's what that genre calls for.
Yeah.
The thing with production is people have these like weird notions about like almost purity. Like, fuck, you got to be like Hank Williams in Nashville with a live fucking band playing in the studio and track it. And if the band fucks up, it's take two or it's not real. That's bullshit. Even Taylor Swift don't do that. Are you going to tell me Taylor Swift ain't a real artist?
Yeah. Well, she's one of the biggest ones right now.
It's 2021. People punch, paste, cut. They put shit on a grid. They make it sound. It's the 50s are over. It's when you hear singers in the 80s, Take My Breath Away and shit like that, you go, damn, this is definitely before auto-tune. Because some of these motherfuckers can't sing.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
And I'm not talking about now. I'm talking about back when people, back then, we was real musicians. Bullshit. Not everybody could sing. Auto-tune helped some people.
Yeah.
Technology helped many people. Because now, it don't matter really sometimes what the fucking act sounds like live. You're never going to see them live. You're gonna love that song while you're working out, though, right? For a month, you're like, dude, I'm getting pumped. This is my song for when I do my presses or whatever. I'm not an athlete, but you know what I'm saying.
It sounds good.
And you rock with this song, and you're like, I'm never gonna see this artist live, but I'm loving this song this month.
Yeah,
what's wrong with that?
That's a different way.
It's not fucking Hank Williams doing it in one take. Trust me, bro. If they stopped in the 1950s with recording technology and everybody had to do their shit in one take, you wouldn't be in music right now. You'd hate music.
Yeah.
Because it would sound like shit. Let's be real. That's
true. That's
technology
definitely
to stay in one place for half a century, that's not a good thing.
True.
And I'm on both sides of the equation. Like I told you, I do a ska fucking track with an upright bassist, and the next day they want me to go full auto-tune on a hook for a pop track. So it's like, I'm not agnostic about this shit at all. I learned to get over it. When I first got into like pop and hip hop production, I was like that. I was like, and then they're doing what? And what? Meanwhile, it's like hit songs that everyone loves. But I have this hang up where it's like, we got to be like the Wailers, going in and laying down and suffering and take 83. Like, nobody does. Like, if you want to be a real professional in the real modern era, you got to do what real professionals do. And real professionals don't do what Hank Williams did in 1951 no more.
No.
Even guys that are singer-songwriters like a John Mayer, he don't go and, yes, there's a huge live element, I'm sure, while he's recording, but there's some cut, paste, some little fucking
there's always going to be
tuck
tweaks.
in, and come on, man.
If you could keep the tweaks for like a band like that, you keep the tweaks to a minimum, you did your job. But there's always tweaking.
But even if you didn't do your job and you had to tweak the shit out of it, I've gotten over that. I have no problem with that. I don't look at that as like, oh, these guys suck, we had to cut and paste them. Because if it was 1961, you would just let it be. You wouldn't have cut and pasted them.
Yeah.
But let's be honest. It wouldn't have sounded as hot.
True.
Hang On Sloopy doesn't sound as fucking hot as like something that Bruno Mars is doing right now. It just, it doesn't.
Yeah.
I'm not a fan of the genre, but I don't lie to myself.
That's true, too.
You know, Louie don't sound as good as whatever the latest You Name It track is by big artists of now. It's technically, it's not as good. The performance, you know, they did it live, but this guy didn't. But this one, you can get with this, or you can get with that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And as technical folks, because we all record and produce ourselves, and also as musicians, it's a disservice, I think, to kind of deny that. And I think a lot of musicians, especially our age, do that. And they kind of they try to discredit. It's the process and the fucking blood and sweat that it takes these guys to cut and paste and do these perfect recordings is probably, I'm going to go ahead and put myself out there and say, more grueling than it is to go, we got it down, let's just cut it, take one.
Yeah, see,
that's not what they do.
For me, like in like the heavier end of the music spectrum, when you get those bands that are so cut and paste to be directly on the beat, and the drums are mapped out with a drum machine because the drummer can't actually physically play what they're, it just, the music loses its soul.
Well, to me, I look at that as a genre-based thing.
Yeah.
What wing of hard music are you in? Are you in the poppy radio hard music where if you don't grit it out and you're in the poppy hard rock shit, it's not going to sound right on the radio. To the people that are fans of the poppy metal, the new metal, this, that, it ain't going to sound right. If you do Black Sabbath, it's just like 1, 2, 3, 4, and you're actually doing it live in 2021. It's not going to. You're not going to be competitive.
Yeah.
So if you're a 16-year-old kid and you put that fucking restriction on him, you got to be a real musician and do the take. He's not going to be able to be like Avenged Sevenfold or whoever he's got in his brain, because that's not what they fucking did. No record has been made like that since 1971.
Yeah.
I know you don't want to hear that. I just had this conversation with my buddy the other day because I was telling him about this is going off on a tact. But we were talking about Peter Criss.
Okay.
And when Kiss did all the reunions, as you guys probably know, you're in fucking hard rock, so I hope you know that when you go to see a proper show, I mean at a fucking 10,000 cap venue, 20,000 cap, the drummer, you're not hearing the actual tom. It's a trigger, man.
Oh,
Yeah.
It's a trigger, and at the very most, they mix a little of the acoustic tom with the trigger. But chances are it's not. Because when Ozzy says, and homie got to go, blump, 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 and you're in a 50 cap stadium, if you literally just mic a fucking, you know this, dog. Oh, we'll just mic the tom and put some reverb on it and then crank it to stadium level. That'll work. No, dude, it's a fucking trigger. So it's like this kind of production is in every genre. It's not just the pop people and the hip hop people.
Yeah.
In 1990s to now, when you see a big fucking show, there's probably going to be triggers, backing tracks even. Even Ozzy, bro. I felt bad about this, but I guess the guy got fired. And his ghost, because he has a ghost vocalist behind the fucking curtains at shows.
Oh, wow.
Who hits all the super high notes for him. Because he's fucking old.
Yeah.
He's been hitting the
Barely,
notes for 50 years doing cocaine.
Yeah.
So if he can't hit the note now, and whether it's fucking metal, pop, or whatever, that's how they make records now. So it's like, it's a weird thing, because I have that propensity too, man, where it's like, yeah, man, slide fucking guitar with a lap steel. The amp's from 1930. Just put a mic on that bitch. That's just not how it's done.
Well,
no
do you
more.
feel that now, like, here's the question, because I'm just going to go by other artists that have been on here. Is that hindering an artistic flavor?
I don't think so, but I am aware that many artists that have their nose up in the fucking air
and I've met
think
some.
it is. But again, Taylor Swift is doing that. Are you going to tell me that chick ain't a fucking songwriter? You're going to sit here and tell me she ain't an artist?
Yeah. So I guess it's just my mindset, like from growing up in music.
It's 'cause we're old.
Well, I'm saying, I don't.
We have to admit that.
I say, but I don't write things that I can't perform live. You know what I mean?
I have no problem with doing that because I've had a different experience, though, which we're going to talk about now and how I came to that.
We'll segue into this story time.
Boom! Here's how it happened.
I wrote a song about it. Want to hear it?
Let me take a sip. I didn't always feel this way. Like I said, I'm raised on metal. I'm like you.
Yeah.
I own 3 Les Pauls. I got like 7 Gibsons. I got the 335. I got the fucking 3 Les Pauls. And I'm not bragging. I'm just, as a kid, I wanted these things and I got them now. I got a fucking SG. The only thing I don't have, which I have had, but I sold it, is right now I don't have a fucking telly. And don't tell my fucking wife, but I'm fucking plotting. I'm plotting on a fucking telly.
Just make sure she doesn't watch this.
This is all just for the podcast. He's only talking because of the podcast.
Edit it out. But you feel what I'm saying? So I am definitely from that organic, let's lay it down, boom, boom, boom. But through the course of human events, I fucking got into pop and hip hop somehow. I got like drafted into pop and hip hop. And I did it for like 10, 15 years as a commercial singer and writer. And it totally changed my
Point of
game.
view and everything.
It totally changed it. Because even when I first started doing it, I was sitting there, they were just using me for my voice.
Yeah.
And so I'm still sitting there as kind of like, I'm a reggae artist, I'm a fucking heavy metal kid, and I'm sitting there like, this fucking music is so jive. Oh, they want me to do what? Because they, they give you the lyric sheet and, okay, sing this and do this, and do you have any changes? What do you think about this part? And I'd be like, well, I would do this. But in my head, I was thinking, this shit is whatever. But I didn't. I was a fucking rookie.
Yeah.
Like when you're a fucking rookie, you have these notions that you don't even know what's going on. It took me a few years so I realized, we're making legit music for fucking superstars right now. And like the song I'm working on right now might make somebody millions of fucking dollars in a couple months. It got to that point. So it's like, meanwhile, I'm at home playing my little rock song. So which one is more artistically important? oh, I'm over here doing it with no overdubs and I did it live, but now I'm doing fucking songs for actual celebrities that are making hits out of the songs I'm writing. Which one is more artistically
Viable, yeah.
yeah. So
Man.
you have to fucking go, oh, this is art. It's just not my genre.
Yeah.
This guy's an expressionist painter, right? This guy's in a different school of painting. They probably looking at each other, oh, fuck, this guy's jive. Expressionism? What? But really, you're going to tell me Matisse or whomever, that's not a painter? So you have to kind of go through this process and be like, oh, I'm not an expressionist. But I still have to respect this genre of painting. It was like that.
Different avenues to get the same
And
destination.
and it didn't take me long, but soon I fucking caught on and I got into it. And now, as a Pro Tools engineer, an Ableton operator, or whatever the fuck, even if I'm working on an organic song that involves an acoustic guitar and whatever, I still have the techniques at my disposal that I learned in the pop and hip hop shit. The guy's off a little bit. You really want to leave that, or you want to fucking slide him on the grid and tune that one word?
Depends
you don't
on
got
the
to auto-tune the
situation,
shit
yeah.
out of him.
Yeah.
But he's off.
Polish it up, yeah.
He's off there. It's your client. Are you gonna leave that so when he hears it, his buddies and his family is off there? Or are you gonna fucking pull out the tool that we have, auto tune or any kind of pitch, fix that one phrase, and now the shit's banging from beginning to end. But don't do that. That's cheating. This guy's paying you, man.
Yeah. Right.
Get over yourself. That's my advice to engineers, man. To old engineers.
Old engineers. Well, there's not many of us
And
left.
trust me, I learned it the hard way. No, we're out there. We're out there sitting there. I see us on Facebook. This new rap music, these kids, they don't know what they're doing. Well, what the fuck do you think the Wu-Tang Clan sounded like to somebody who was 45 back in 1997?
Yeah.
I mean, it's true.
gotta remember
The
we were
shit
all
was
kids
so
once.
lo-fi, it sounded like it was recorded on a fucking cassette tape, which it might have been.
You never know.
Now look at it. Classic. I just saw Wu-Tang Manhattan, me and my wife.
Oh, nice.
Oh, what a good
All
time.
these people keep telling me about that
The-
documentary
dude,
they did
the
on him.
fucking. Oh, I didn't see the doc.
They
but
said
this-
it's great.
Dude, this live show, I turned to my wife in the thing, I'm like, we're watching a classic rock show right now. Because these dudes are 30 years recording artists.
Yeah.
So, like, if it was the 90s or the 80s, these guys would be the dudes from the 50s. So, if it was the 90s and we're watching the show, we're watching the Stones right now. Band from 30 years ago.
Yeah.
So, these guys' live show is down. It's not a bullshit. It's a fucking show, man, that a veteran artist that's won Grammys puts on. It was, oh, what a good time. And a brawl broke out as we were leaving. I'm like, babe, this is fucking legit.
Yeah.
We got a brawl.
I get caught.
We're old people. We want a little brawl.
what you were just saying.
We want excitement.
I get caught in that too, because to me, I still think all the time when I think 30 years ago, I think the 70s.
Because that's me too. I
But
think fucking.
then I have to sit there and go, that was a lot longer
Well,
than
it's me
30
now.
years ago.
I'm the 70s. Exactly. I'm Fleetwood Mac. Holy shit, Nirvana is Fleetwood Mac.
Like, damn.
Yeah.
That's where you go with it.
That's
It's
a
like,
fact.
oh, Nirvana. Oh, that's 30 years.
That's a fact.
You know. All right. So we're talking. I like the way this is going with everything, whether it's organic or whatever. I want to touch on today and today's standards of single versus an EP versus an LP.
I will answer that question, but that's kind of a boring question. to
It
be
is,
honest.
but you know what? It's an actual question that I think.
It's just such a common thing. I'm an older guy, so of course I put out fucking albums all the time.
Okay.
But I put out 5, 6, 7 albums every year.
Oh wow.
So I put out as much albums as a cat would put out a single in a year.
Okay.
I don't have no fucking problem making 20 songs. But I'm also aware of the fact that that's not how music is consumed anymore. Nobody wants your fucking 20 songs. They just don't.
Yeah.
They want your hottest fucking song.
Yeah, we talk about that on here a lot, is how there's such an immediate access to so much
You
material.
got 30 seconds.
Exactly.
Give me your hottest fucking track.
People have no
Don't-
attention span. If you don't hook them,
Are you really going to give me your metal album right now and go, this? Okay, here's my artistic statement. Now I hit play, right? So
that's where we struggle. Our songs
follow
are like
me,
10
follow
minutes
me, though.
long.
I was just going to tell you. So now I hit play. Since it's a metal album, the synthesizer drone starts or the guitar drone.
That's exactly how it starts.
45 seconds later, ting, 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 ting. You know, 1 minute 50, maybe someone starts fucking singing. So it's like, that's a thing. You can do that, but even today, for your album-oriented person that's a younger person, it's still more digestible, consumable, and appropriate is the word I guess is a strong word to use, to give them the one fucking song. Let them decide. It's an hors d'oeuvre, man. We're, you know, dude, I do albums. In this year, I did probably 4 or 5 albums. One of them was a double album, which is like, who even fucking does that? But I realized that I'm kind of, quote unquote, doing a wrong thing. So, yes, to answer your question, I do the old school shit, but I recognize that it's not the appropriate or accepted methodology of the current time.
It's not the most efficient. Yeah,
it's not efficient, but it's also not appropriate.
Yeah,
It's not efficient for us as musicians to go, we'll have this next album to you in 2 years. Motherfucking 2021, 2 years, no one, who?
They're going to forget about you by then.
Somehow Tool gets away with 10 years between albums.
So it's not efficient for you to do this whole 2-year cycle, but it's also not appropriate for the audience who's not prepared, trained, or used to this. Motley Crue's going to have another album in 5 years.
Yeah.
That's from way back, bro. It's like...
All right, so we're coming up to 2022. What are your plans?
Okay, so my plans for 2022 is I don't want to mention the prickly boy. You know, the ball with the prickles on it that's been fucking everybody. Because if you mention if you mention prickly boy, you know you will get flagged for audio. So since prickly boy fucked everybody up, I've been doing what everyone else does. I've been at home, chilling with my family, cooking meals for the family, being like Mr. Mom, because like the rock star shit done ended. You know what I'm saying? That's over right now. Dad, can we get some pancakes? So I've been doing that whole thing.
There's nothing wrong with that, though.
No, nothing.
No, bro. You know. For 2022, though, I want to get back on the freaking airplanes. I want to get back in the freaking the truck, put the trailer on it. You know the thing. Drum kit, load it up, buy to the women. Woo! Barbarians, we're hitting the road. That's the plans for 2022.
We talked about doing songs for celebrities. Yeah. Why don't you talk about...
Yeah, this is a perfect way that you guys asked, because what happened was we glossed over this, but I did go from strictly live, ska musician, skinhead, punk, reggae, boom, boom, boom. I got introduced to this pop songwriting world as a vocalist. Okay. Where they're like, your voice would work on... And then they brought me in, and through that, doing it, I learned the process, you know, that type of process. So within the years that I did that, I did... Are you familiar with the Brill Building, the old school Brill Building? Back in New York in the 60s, there was an actual district in Manhattan for songwriting. And the center of this songwriting district, like they had the garment district and the meat packing district, was this joint called the Brill Building, where it was literally like a 30-story building. Motherfuckers would just write 500 cubicles with dudes writing songs like a factory. And the modern pop production is kind of based off that. You go in, it's not like we were talking about before, it's not like, oh my God, let's wait for the muse and smoke some weed till the muse comes, and if we don't get inspired today, we just fuck it.
No, it's called throw 700 songs against the wall and see what sticks.
No, and even see what sticks. It's like, yo, we're in an empty room. Here's the blank page. We're tasked with writing 3 fucking songs today. Are you a fucking songwriter or ain't you?
Yeah.
If you threw a blank notebook, and this is going back to our early reference, in front of Hank Williams and said, you can't leave this room till you write 3 songs, but you think he can't do it? He's going to write 3 fucking songs. Yeah. That's the difference between he's an artist, but he's also a fucking professional.
Yeah.
Then you have artists, they're definitely artistic, but they're not professional. They got to wait till the muse arrives and all this. Bro, you're not going to get any food and no money and nothing to eat. So it's like, I would the gig was this. I did most of this work in Harlem, and I was living in Manasquan at the time, and I would commute to Harlem 3-4 days a week and grind it out. We'd go up there, we'd do 6 hooks, or as many as we could in a day. and we did a lot of celebrity projects. You know, after a while, after I got over myself, I got used to this process, and then it was like, oh, well, who are we cutting a song for today? Because I did like, do you remember the Diplomats? I know you guys aren't hip hop guys, but you remember Cameron? You don't know the Diplomats?
No.
Oh boy,
No, it doesn't ring a
Really?
bell. No.
Yeah, no.
you never heard of Cameron? Fucking Joel Santana, Jim Jones, ballin'.
That sounds familiar.
Well,
The ball,
anyway.
but yeah.
So I won't sound like the old guy in the podcast. You guys will. All right. So anyway, we're doing all these like Grammy-winning fucking hip hop artists, boom, 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 those tracks. And after a while, I got used to this process where it's like, okay, today we're working on a track for fucking. I did a track for fucking Justin Bieber, you know. So after a while, it got kind of like, you know, okay, what's the next one, Charlie? His name wasn't Charlie, it was Will, but all right, what's the next one? And one day he goes, oh, this one's fucking weird. This is so funny. Because we would do a track, there's the vocal booth and the couch, and I would have to go in the vocal booth, do the work, and then it's like, okay, let's chop this up, come on out, sit down, and then I'd be on my phone like just bullshitting like what anybody would do, right? So the one day he's like, I'm like, all right, what's up next, man? Because then it would be like he would tighten shit up, close the Pro Tools session, open the next session, and then if sometimes we'd have lyrics like partially written, he had started the idea, and then he would print out a paper with whatever he had lyrically, and either it would just be sing this or we'd do tweaks. But whatever. So we finished a track one day, and he says, oh, this one's interesting. Because he's like looking, I guess, in his inbox. And I'm like, oh, cool. What's up next? He goes, we're going to do something for Akon and Britney Spears. And at that time, Britney was like, it was after her meltdown freakout.
Oh, okay.
And she was in hiding. And she was in hiding planning her fucking return and her comeback. And this project I was working on was the comeback album. I think it was Circus. Remember Circus?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
It was Circus. So fucking, I'm like, oh, that's cool. And at this point, I'm not like, oh my God, Britney Spears, blah, blah, blah. I've already done 12 Akon tracks. One of them was a fucking hit for him. So it's like, we've already done all this shit. So I'm like, oh, that's kind of cool. So I'm on the Twitter and I'm like, bragging in a way, you know, just kind of like, you got to make a tweet.
Yeah.
What are you doing right now? Oh shit, about to work on a Britney Spears and Akon track. That's crazy or something I typed. And I hit send. Boom. The next day I'm back up in Harlem. And the guy, when I walk in, he goes, bro, did you like say anything about like that Britney track yesterday? I'm like, oh, that? I was like, yeah, fuck. When we were getting ready to work on it, I tweeted. He's like his whole, like, I saw his heart sink.
Son of a bitch.
Out of his fucking face. He goes, bro, Google up the news right now. MTV. Boom. Nobody knew Britney was working on an album. And now the Associated fucking Press got my tweet.
Oh, my God.
And I outed Britney that she was working on this fucking project. So the manager got on her Twitter the next day and fired me and Will and Darkchild, Rodney Jerkins, he's done everybody from fucking Usher to the guy's he's already sitting in a $30,000 mansion getting fired. Yeah. Me and Will, we're in an apartment in Harlem getting fired. He had already done his thing, man. Janet Jackson, all this. So, yeah, that's interesting. And if you Google up just Akon, Britney Spears, it'll come up. And the track was leaked. Do you guys remember the blog Perez Hilton?
Oh, yes. Yeah.
Motherfucking that guy got a hold of the track, posted it, and we got dragged. Because the track wasn't that good. And it probably wasn't going to get cleared anyway because it was based on a Journey interpolation.
Okay.
We were doing Don't Stop Believing was the melody we were biting. Mm-hmm. And that's happened a million times. That's reminding me of something that's not in my notes. Similar thing happening with fucking Ace of Base. The Ace of Base shut us down, dog. And it wasn't even our fault. And we were getting ready it was Warner Brothers Scandinavia. Mm-hmm. So it was a big deal. I had done this hook, called All That She Wants, based on All That She Wants by, remember, All That She Wants is another baby.
Yeah.
So there was this kid, I can't remember what the fuck his name was. But he was coming up in the Scandinavian world as like a Kanye West. He was a big deal on Warner Brothers. You gotta realize that all these labels, they have their territories and the different labels. So there's like Warner Brothers fucking Scandinavia, Warner Brothers Asia. And there could be a fucking multi-platinum artist on Warner Brothers Asia. You and I are never gonna hear of.
Yeah, they stay in their sir.
So this guy was one of them. He was huge in the Scandinavian world, black guy, rapper. Was he Swedish? He might have been Swedish or some shit. So we fucking made this banger, dude. The track, I'm the hook guy. All that she wants is a new Mercedes. Yeah. Because, now he's rapping about the fucking opulence and shit, right? So we come to find out, interpolation denied by the writers. We're like, what the fuck? Turns out Ace of Base was formed by 2 men and 2 women, right?
Yeah.
After they had all those hits, I Saw the Sign, all this and that, they got into a fucking, how bands, they start, broke up. The 2 chicks split off from the dudes. The 2 dudes got 2 new girls, and the 2 new girls, the 2 old girls who were already multimillionaires by that point, vowed never to clear any samples.
Wow.
To F those guys that were trying to keep going with the brand.
Yeah.
So they wouldn't clear our sample. And they said they found it offensive to women because we said all she wants is a new Mercedes.
Okay.
Come. My man. The track's hot though, man. I'm not giving that up. Yeah. I worked on that one and we made it good,
That's awesome. They're great stories, man.
All right. This will be the end of it. Final question. There's one thing you could change about the music scene. One singular thing. What would it be and why?
One thing I could change?
One thing you could change.
I mean, that's such an easy answer. I wouldn't change anything. And the reason I wouldn't change anything is because I think everything is running fine as it is. I really don't see any problems.
That's the easiest answer I've ever heard.
Yeah, music. If you really want me to expand, I mean,
We get people that go down the rabbit hole. On
you
that.
go. We'll keep it shallow, but you go to fucking ice cream shop. There's 800 flavors, man. If you don't like the weird flavor, don't eat it. You don't like Post Malone? Don't fucking listen to him. But to act like that flavor isn't good because you're an old bitter motherfucker.
Not even just about the music, about how the shows were run, how promoters treat the bands.
I mean, that's almost 2 different things because you're talking.
It's still part of the scene.
The music scene for the fan, I don't think anything has changed. If you're 16, you like some weird motherfucker with an interesting haircut that your parents hate. I hope that never changes. The minute you're like, good on you, son, you're listening to Bing Crosby, kill me, because that's not a world I want to fuck. I don't want to live in that world. Everything is for everybody, bro. It's like, what flavor you want to eat?
Yeah.
Like these young rappers with the purple dreads, some of it is ridiculous. But if you want to seriously be honest and you listen to a lot of songs, you're going to find a couple songs you're like, the head starts nodding a little and you're like, all right, okay, all right, this guy's all right. So it's just kind of like a la carte, man. It's fucking same thing with the album. What a good wrap up. It's an a la carte world, man.
Yeah.
Nobody has time for your fucking entree, but let me take a sample.
Yeah.
If I like what I'm tasting, I'm definitely going to be pursuing. I'm coming back to this
restaurant. A common answer to that question is for your sampling, like Spotify, how they pay a tenth of a penny.
It's garbage.
I
have never had a day job off of music, but I'm not going to fucking sit here and tell you tales about how my recorded output pays my mortgage. What pays my mortgage is live performing.
Yeah.
Period. Yes, I get money off recordings, boom, 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 but it's not like the 50, 60K a year that a teacher makes or whatever you make. Like that shit comes off of going out to the venues and slogging it out. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yep.
Of which Jeff has fucking been there with me, so he knows. We've been bit by green flies together.
Ah,
and
yes.
shit.
Yes. Shit hurts. The shit hurts.
All right, well, we're going to go get set up in the other room, and we'll get a couple songs out of you.
Nice.
Oh, real quick. Tell people where they can find you. Follow
course.
you.
I'm going to be at dubassassins.com. Pretty easy.
All right,
Pretty easy.
Follow them on Instagram, all those other good places. And,
All of them Dub Assassins.
as usual for us, if you want to get in touch with us, you can jsmpinfo@gmail.com. Hit us up, and Jeff will get right back to you.
Yeah, never. I don't do computers, sir.
You.
All right.
It's always
Let's
you,
get
Matt.
going.
It's
You
always
guys are
you.
legends, man. Whoa, oh, oh, whoa. Whoa, oh, oh, whoa. Whoa, oh, oh, yeah. It really don't matter now. Same old discussion. You think it's so special, but you're coming down a dozen. Hey. And one day I'm gonna buy your whole life. Yeah, one day you're gonna realize I'm a gangster. Gangster, gangster. Mama thought that I was never coming back. Till I pull up in a 58 Cadillac. Looking like an animal, the minks hanging on my back. True OG, you can call me Goldie Mac. Oh, I'm off that purple all day, I'm so high. And yup, I'm so bona fide, that's why I'm something you can never be. That's why your main baby begging on me like a DOC. A true professional, baby, you know me. Make a hot track, donate to charity. Yup, I do it for free. Dedicate to daddy in the penitentiary. Singing whoa, whoa. And it easy being me, gangsta. I know you catch your feeling, see you later. Put that on my whole life. You ain't been acting right, baby. I'ma have to let you know. Really don't matter now. Same old discussion. Ooh, you think it's so special, but you're coming down a dozen. Yeah, and one day I'm gonna buy your whole life. Yeah, one day you're gonna realize I'm a gangster. Gangster, gangster. I told you I was gonna get my paper right, but you didn't believe me. Now you got that 20/20 vision hindsight, but you still don't see me. Still none of these things that I say are designed to impress you. Cause darling, at the end of the day, I'm just trying to undress you. Since I had to pack my things and go, it's been a couple years for me. But let that truth be told, you never shed a single tear for me. I was headed out down the road. Yup, you got a little weird on me. But I rode it like a rodeo, and I handled that business like a true OG. It really don't matter now, it's the same old discussion. Woo! You think it's so special, but you're coming down a dozen. Yeah, and one day I might buy your whole life. Yeah, one day you're gonna realize I'm a gangster. Gangster, gangster. You.
was a gangster, all he knew was the gun and the concrete, yeah. That boy there, man, he watching all the crime from sideline, ready for the post time. And it happens so when the moment I come out on the street, them are recognizing him potential. Cause him and a shy from the sirens, not the violence. Long as it paying all the dividend, don't care, sell them soul for the paper. Anything them do if the price is right. Gangsta not feel, say nothing them afraid. Nothing the dirty money can't buy when they put them on the payroll. Yeah. Whoa, when they put them on the payroll, ain't no getting on. The paper turn man a criminal, yeah. Hey, the paper turn man a criminal, yeah, 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 yeah. Oh, dig it. Ooh, 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 ooh. And now we come in the time of the year. Police officers, them a crooked, take handouts from anywhere. Officer, no officer salary, no make officer, no millionaire. So he takes $1 here and there. He claims I got 2 children, I got to pay them tuition. But officer turn into a criminal, him dead on the road. Looking for the payroll, police on patrol, hunting for the payroll. Them a hold the youth in the flashing lights. Officer sees contraband in on the caper. Profit them a pocket that don't think twice. They're on the payroll. Woo! They put them on the payroll. They no getting home. The paper time man a criminal, yeah. Oh, the paper time man a criminal, yeah, 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 yeah. Hey, ooh, 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 go. Payroll, fools. You. Yeah, let me think of something. I'll whip out one. What's another tune between old friends? Oh, let's do this. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Hey. Ooh, yeah. Ooh, hey. No, no, no. Ooh, yeah, yeah, yeah. Ooh, yeah, yeah. Listen up while I'm telling to you about this dance hall love affair. Something happens when them records play. You can feel the magic in the air. We're gonna dance to the break of day. Forget troubles like we never cared. And I'll be calling around 7:30. Oh, we got something nice to wear. Baby girl, you can be my lady. I hope I can be your man. record, cancel them future plans. Select to play that song again, my heart is in your hands. Music is the food of love, I hope the night don't ever end. Who she really feeling me? I can tell by the way she stares. The heat to the third degree on it, that's our love affair. Love affair. Dance our love affair. Woo! Dance our love affair, yeah. Hey, dance our love affair. Ooh, yeah, yeah, yeah. Ooh, yeah, yeah, yeah. When I saw you there, baby, I was praying you would take a chance. It was last Christmas on Derby, I could run the dance. Go! Approach you like a gentleman, you know I'm all about that true romance. I gotta take you everywhere from Tom's River all the way to France. Shoo. Select to play that song again, my heart is in your hands. You know the music be the food of love, the night don't ever end. Ooh, she really feeling me, I can tell by the way she stares. Feel the heat in the third degree on this dance hall love affair. Love affair. This dance hall love affair. Woo! This dance hall love affair. Baby, this dance hall love affair. Yeah. Jersey Shore Musicians Podcast. Your boy P-Dub signing off. Keep listening, like, and subscribe. Write a review.
Bye.
Parched. Ah, you guys are fancy. Look, he's got Les Paul fucking painting. He's got the Christmas shit up. You guys are savages, man.